Greetings, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Today is the day that Mercury rules, and Mercury is still retrograde in Scorpio for about another until the 29th. So we're at the 26th, I believe. So Mercury goes direct on the 29th in Scorpio, and then it is going to move back into Sagittarius. This Mercury retrograde has been an opportunity for us to get to the truth of the matter, like the nitty gritty, like what's really happening here. And it's been inviting us to go deep into our subconscious, our behaviors, our patterns, our thoughts, to discover the why, like what's really behind the thing. I was trying to think of how this has been impacting my life. In this moment, I feel so cleared out. Like I feel like this might be TMI, but one time I had a colonoscopy and they make you drink a whole gallon of fluid to clean out your guts, your intestines entirely before they put the camera up there. And I feel washed out like that emotionally. I feel like I'm just finished with so many things, and I feel the space, I feel the opening, and I also feel the part of me that kind of wants to rush to try and feel it, but I'm like, I don't even know what I would feel it with, so I'm just sitting with it and knowing that the truth will reveal itself, like whatever is next, whatever my next steps are, choices that are aligned with what I'm here to be and do will reveal themselves. So what's going on in your life? I know the other day I stepped into a Mercury retrograde experience that just, like, now I can really laugh about it, but while we were in it, it was so intense. Mercury is about communication, and so I was in a thought around how something was unfolding, and someone else, I shared it with them, and they responded with a reaction to it. But really, it was all Mercury retrograde. And so it turned into what felt like an argument, or what felt like, a disagreement, or what felt like harsh words, but it was really just Mercury retrograde, and we just couldn't meet each other in the same space. And so we both just stayed in the conversation. And I don't know, I can't speak for how they left it because I am not them, but I know I left it feeling like I had just lifted, a ton of bricks and moved them from one end to the next. And then to realize, like, oh, those bricks need to go back over there. It was, have you ever done something before and then you had to undo it and you realize, like, you just wasted so much time? Like, that's what the conversation felt like. Like, it felt like a whole Mercury retrograde thing that could have been avoided, but we didn't know, you know what I mean? So we just sort of crashed into one another. It's quite interesting. And then it just all worked itself out so effortlessly. Like, now when I look back at how it worked out, none of the conversation had any value. It could have gone without us having it, because it worked itself out in a way that didn't have us having to deal with any of the things that we were talking about. So that's Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. It's first of all, Scorpio is about death and transformation. So there's a lot of endings occurring now, a lot of ancestral patterns that are closing out, a lot of shadow stuff that is being alchemized. Like, there's a lot of that happening right now. And the thing that's important about understanding this is that it's all mental, it's all mindset, it's all narratives and stories that we tell ourselves about things, because we live in a mental reality. So we are shutting down a whole old way of being. As a human being in this human experience, I don't get it. Like, I get it. I get what's happening. I get that the world is changing. I get that, the West is collapsing. I get that the patriarchy, the way we have, the patriarchal is the external ideas of how we have done things. Those external ideas are dying, right? And those external ideas were often created to suppress and oppress others, and that is also dying. I saw a client this morning, and she was saying how concerned she is about sending her children to college. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, college is going to be college is almost over, right? Like, you can get education online for free. The biggest universities are offering classes for free. The Trump administration has just made careers that were professional, unprofessional. Like, none of that is going to have any value soon, right? And so one of the things that I remember when I was in school studying to become a therapist, and at some point I'd done like 3 years of work, and then I was like, if I get this license, I'm not going to be able to do the things that are really true to what I know is healing. This license is going to force me out of this license is going to force me to function from a perspective of patriarchy and capitalism. Like, one of the things that I see as a therapist, we're not taught to treat people towards healing. We're taught to treat them so that they have to come back to us over and over and over and over again. And the work that I do now isn't that. Like, I give tools that work, that actually will help you get free. And I have systems that actually help you transform your life so that you're not necessarily reliant upon me. Like, if you do the things I offer and teach, you won't be reliant upon me. You're going to be able to go walk the world as your own individual, as your own person. If you're devoted and you actually really learn it and you actually put it to work. If you don't put it to work, then you will have to come back and be like, but if you put it to work, you will see, how it works. And I teach people how to use their charts and how to see with another lens and all of that. And if I would have gone down the road of therapy or the Western world, it would not have allowed me to do that, because we teach people to be dependent upon us here because of money, because of capitalism. And so all of those systems are beginning to collapse, and all of the ways we outsource our power are beginning to collapse. We are now going to partner with people who are aligned and in integrity, like, the medical field is not designed to actually heal. It is designed to keep people dependent. Your doctors are designed to keep you dependent upon them. Their solutions are not for you to heal, not for you to win. Their solutions are for you to be dependent upon the medical industry. And that's also true for a lot of our industries. And all of these realities are collapsing because we are at the end of an era. We're at the end of an era and the end of an age. And we are the humans who are here at this time, at the end of an era and the end of an age, to alchemize this old energy and give birth to a new reality. And that means that we need to strengthen our intuition. We need to strengthen our creative skills. We need to understand how reality works, that your words, your mind is actually creating reality. We were living in a reality that was birthed by others. And so we had not needed to be as fully in command of ourselves as we are going to need going forward, because we were just keeping someone else's reality in place. And now that that reality is fully collapsing, we will need to learn how to use our creative skills, tools, faculties to function more aligned with nature so that you can thrive here. Like, I was talking to someone the other day, and I was saying that when I was a little girl watching television, we had NBC, CBS, and ABC, 3 stations. And at the top of those stations were 3 white men who determined the dialogue, what people said, what people felt. So when I was a young child watching things like the Jeffersons and all of that came out of a white man's mind. All of that was approved by a white person's perspective, and that is now changing. We now have power to narrate our own realities, and so that means that we have to understand how reality works so that we can do the work of creating from within ourselves. And because no longer is anyone else in control of your reality, your ideas, your perspectives, your perceptions. There was a time when we were all in the same field and these 3 or 7 white men determined everything, and now that is ending. And so we get to think for ourselves, learn how to heal ourselves, learn to teach ourselves, educate ourselves, and be who we are born to be. All right, you all. Like I said, this is Mercury. Mercury's retrograde. The retrograde ends on the 29th of November. While it has been retrograde in Scorpio, it has been asking you to get to the truth of the matter. What is really motivating you? What is really happening? And then it will go from Scorpio to Sagittarius to tell the truth about it. See it for what it is and tell the truth about it. We have tomorrow, Saturn goes direct. Saturn has been retrograde since like April. This has been deep work around releasing shame and guilt and all of these shadowy patterns that no longer serve us. We have been doing the work to release that. And we've been doing the work to release the shame, the guilt, the ancestral shame, ancestral patterns, addictions. All of that stuff has been, for the last 4 months, we have been doing the work to heal that. And the question is, are you healing it or are you just cycling back into it? You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I'm saying I feel so cleared out right now, because I'm not cycling back into it. I have literally made choices. I have said because I see the cycles coming, because everything here is cyclical. And when I see the cycle coming, I determine before it gets here, I'm not going back into that. I am not going to do that again. I remember I said, my son's father, we used to break up and get back together often. And then at some point, I just would see him coming and I was just like, no, I don't want to do that again. Like, I want to do something different. And that's how we end cycles. You just see that I've done this before and I've tried it this way and I've tried it that way and I've tried it that way. And it's never giving me a result that I want. So I'm not going to get back on that bus. I'm not going to get back. I'm not having that conversation again. I'm not having those thoughts anymore. I'm not making those choices any longer. I'm not taking those actions any longer. I'm going to do something different. And that is what we're up to. We're up to outgrowing our old way of being and shifting into a new way. And so that means you have to let go of the shame, the guilt, the fear. I'll come back and talk about that tomorrow, but that's a part of this Mercury retrograde as well. All right, you all, peace and blessings. If you need support, you can go to my website and book you can book your coaching packages. You can book readings and astro readings so that I can look at your chart and tell you how to navigate this upcoming season that you're in, help you see what patterns are being made available for you to shift, and how you can actually do that. What rituals and practices you can put in place to do that. And or you can go and pick up the Mercury retrograde workbook. We're at the end. We have 3 more weeks of Mercury retrograde, but if you get in now, you can still do the work, because that is how the work works. And so that you can pick up at my website, healwithmoonmama.com. Healwithmoonmama.com. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.